Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with more updates coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got tons of huge news to share with you today. So last night, inside of Russia and Ukraine, it was very active. Both sides exchanging heavy fire with drones and missiles at the same time. So I've got lots of video footage to show you guys today. It's definitely going to be an action-packed video. We're going to start off with this story that you see here on your screen as Ukraine attacked Russia's Kaluga oil depot with a direct hit, sparking a fire. So the Kaluga oil depot is located close to the Moscow region of Russia, just a little bit southeast, and there's an oil depot in the town of Kaluga. Took direct hits from Ukrainian drones. Looks like multiple drones potentially striking this facility, as we do have information as well today that was showing that up to 4 of the oil storage tanks at this facility taking direct hits and going up in flames. So I expect this facility to completely demolish itself over the next 24 to 48 hours. Looks like this is going to be a fire that yet again Russia's not going to be able to put out. We'll see what happens, but you can see here in the video footage definitely a major blaze at this facility, taking multiple hits from drones. So we'll be talking about that today. I've got lots of video footage showing direct hits at this facility. Also, apparently a military factory known as the Typhoon factory as well in Kaluga coming under attack by Ukrainian drones as well. This is a industrial plant that's engaged in producing radar electronic equipment, components for missile defense systems for Russia, like their S-400s. Lots of different system components are produced at this facility. So I don't have video footage of this facility coming under attack, but lots of information talking about the Typhoon factory as well in the Kaluga region coming under attack by Ukrainian drones. So we'll be discussing that as well today. And also up in the Kursk region, we had Atacms once again going into the Kursk region, targeting the Khalino airbase. Okay, I will show you guys on a map where all of this stuff is located here in just a little bit. And the Khalino airbase being hammered last night with Atacms. This, I believe, is the third time Ukraine has fired Atacms into Russia. And the Khalino airbase being leveled with cluster munitions fired from the Atacms ballistic missiles, okay? So I've got lots of video footage coming out from there. Insane footage today that you guys are not going to believe when you see it. Pretty crazy. And also, one last thing we're going to discuss today as well is going to be major attacks inside of Ukraine, okay? We had Odessa being hammered again, the Zaporizhzhia region coming under attack, also Kharkiv heavily being hit by missiles and drones. So last night was just an insane night. Both sides were definitely not getting any sleep, and it looks like Ukraine and Russia were definitely throwing a fit last night and deciding to hammer each other very hard. So just so much information coming out today, guys. We've also got numerous other things we're going to go over as well, but I want to start hopping into this. Let's go ahead and start out here on Ukrainska Pravda. This is going to give us some information regarding this attack on this oil depot. So it says Ukraine's general staff confirms attack on oil depot in Russia's Kaluga Oblast. Okay, this came out today, Monday, November 25th, 2024. Here's a picture of that facility as it went up in flames. It says right here, Ukraine's defense forces struck a number of Russian critical infrastructure facilities in Russia on the night of the 24th to the 25th of November. It says source here is General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Telegram. Quote, we can confirm that an attack on an oil depot in Kaluga Oblast has been successful. The results of attacks on other facilities are being verified. Reports indicate that Ukraine's armed forces struck Russian key targets in Bryansk, Kaluga, and Kursk Oblasts of Russia. Now, I wasn't able to find any information on what was attacked inside of the Bryansk region. I haven't seen anything just yet. Maybe that information will come out later, but for sure in the Kaluga region, we had the Kaluga oil depot as well as the Typhoon factory coming under attack, and the Kursk Oblast was the Khalino airbase, okay? So it says background, earlier Russian Telegram channels reported that drones had been shot down in Kaluga on the night of the 24th to the 25th of November. The governor of Kaluga Oblast said the wreckage of one of the drones fell on the premises belonging to an industrial firm, causing a fire. So, as they always state, it's always a drone that is shot down. The debris falls onto the facility, catching on fire. But I'll show you guys in a little bit. It's some video footage. It definitely looks like it took at least one direct hit, probably even more, okay? Later, Andriy Kovalenko, head of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council's Center for Countering Disinformation, said that drones had attacked the Typhoon plant, part of the Russian defense industrial base in the city of Kaluga. Subsequently, Ukrainska Pravda source in Ukraine's defense forces said that Ukrainian drones had struck a fuel and energy infrastructure facility in the Kaluga Oblast. So I'm assuming that would be the oil depot, but I'm not sure if there was another facility relating to fuel and energy that could have been struck. I haven't been able to find that information yet, but if I do find that out later, I will let you guys know what else was struck. So it looks like the Kaluga Oblast definitely coming under major attack by drones last night, as Ukraine was definitely firing dozens and dozens of them into that region of Russia. Okay, so now we're going to hop on over to X, and I've got numerous things I want to show you over here. So we'll start off here with Jurgen Nodit. In Kaluga, the Typhoon factory, which is part of the Russian military-industrial complex, TSPD, was also attacked. The plant is engaged in development and production of radio, electronic equipment, production of components for surveillance and control systems installed on combat vehicles, production of parts for air defense systems, aviation equipment, and missile systems, maintenance and improvement of equipment of the Russian troops, produces electronic modules and special equipment necessary for the integration of various military systems. So we got a video here, 18 seconds long, that shows what I believe is the Kaluga oil depot after it was struck, and you're going to be able to see the flame and all the smoke here from this facility. Take a look at this. Okay, so I believe this should be the Kaluga oil depot, as we can see this consistent flame coming from this building, but I'm not 100% sure. This also could be that Typhoon factory, but from what I understand, this is the Kaluga oil depot, as we'll show you guys some other videos that look very similar to this. But again, we do know the Typhoon factory was attacked as well, okay? So now we're going to hop on over to this map, and I'm going to show you guys where the Kaluga oil depot is located at. So this is Ukraine down here. Here's the Russian territory. Okay, we have the Moscow region over here. Just a little bit southeast is the Kaluga region right here. So we'll zoom in to the city of Kaluga. Here it is, Kaluga right here. Pretty large size city. And up in the northeast side of Kaluga, we have the Kaluga oil depot. Okay, so looks like there's probably about 15 or so, maybe 20 of these oil storage tanks. And one of these sides taking a direct hit. I'm not sure if it was this one or this side, but definitely a direct hit at this facility. I'm going to show you guys more video footage of these oil storage tanks going up in flames. So from what we understand, again, roughly about 4 of these taking direct hits and going up in flames. And typically what we have seen a lot of times at these oil storage sites is whenever, anywhere from 2 to 4 of them get hit, usually it'll spread from 4 to more. And before you know it, entire column of them will be destroyed at once, okay? And this can happen within a 24 to 48 hour period. So again, here it is in the city of Kaluga, northeastern portion of the city of Kaluga, not too far away from Moscow, okay? So I think somewhere around 250 kilometers from the border of Ukraine, roughly somewhere in that range. So we're going to go ahead and move on to another update now from War Translated Dmitry. Yesterday in Russia's Kaluga region, the sound of buzzing and explosions filled the air. According to official reports, a fire broke out at an industrial facility following an attack by unidentified drones. Unconfirmed sources suggest that targets included an oil refinery and the Kaluga instrument making plant, Typhoon. So here's some more video footage coming from the Kaluga oil depot as it was coming under attack. Looks like somebody's saying one more is coming. This is when drones were entering into the facility. Some of these videos as well, you will hear gunfire in the background trying to take down these drones. Take a look at this, 40 seconds long.
Еще один идет. Там вообще пиздец.
Парам-парам-пам-парам. Парам-пам-пам.
Колонны выстраиваются.
Ну да.
Одна колонна под срочников, одна колонна под контрактников. Колонны выстраиваются.
Ну да.
Одна колонна под срочников.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and pause it there. So from these videos, we can definitely see what appears to be direct strikes. There was an explosion over here when one of those drones blew up, so most likely indicating direct hits. And then also further down in this video, we can see here from this video, looks like one fire here, two fires there. So at least two fires for sure at this facility that broke out after taking direct hits from Ukrainian drones. And again, this fire is most likely going to spread and engulf the facility. We have seen this multiple times at other oil depots, even in the Krasnodar region. So moving on to another update from Jay in Kiev. Ukraine's allies still refusing to do away with Putin's cash machine. Ukrainian drones took out this oil refinery in Russia's Kaluga region. The plant has capacity of refining 24,000 barrels a day. Okay, so pretty large amount of barrels being produced here and refined at this facility. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this as well. 41 seconds in this video.
Слушай. Слушай, говорю.
О, пизда. Андрей, это пиздец. Это пизда.
Понял, Влад.
Смотрите, долбоёбы. Вон. Видите? Да долбоёбы.
Okay, so this video here shows intense heavy gunfire trying to shoot down an incoming drone. And then what it looks like to me is we have a direct hit. And soon after this direct hit, we can see lots of smoke and fire. We'll move forward just a little bit right here. Looks like a direct hit at the facility. Here comes all that smoke and flame, and then we can see that consistent fire coming up, indicating that an oil depot, or an oil storage tank, excuse me, took a direct hit from this drone. So to me, this doesn't look like falling debris, but it is a little bit difficult to see. It is late at night, and somebody's recording this through their window, looks like in their apartment in a high-rise building. So pretty insane, guys. All right, so now we're going to move on to talk about the Khalino airbase coming under attack by Atacms. These are U.S.-supplied ballistic missiles that Ukraine has been firing into Russia recently. Russia warning about the launches of these Atacms, also British Storm Shadow missiles, Scalp EG missiles. It really doesn't matter. Russia's been warning Ukraine about using these. They even fired a new experimental medium-range hypersonic ballistic missile, also known as the Oreshnik or Cedar missile, and they fired that into Ukraine just a few days ago to warn them that they have the capabilities to potentially destroy Ukraine, even with nuclear weapons. Maybe that weapon could be fitted with nuclear warheads. Yet at the same time, we're still seeing Ukraine completely not worrying about a nuclear response from Russia and still striking Russian territory with U.S.-supplied or British-supplied missiles, okay? So it says here from the new voice of Ukraine, Ukrainian attack targets Khalino airbase in Russia. This just coming out today, November 25th, 2024. It says Ukrainian forces carried out an overnight attack with 7 Atacms missiles and 12 drones on the Khalino military airfield in Russia's Kursk Oblast. The Russian Astra Telegram channel reported on November 25th. At least one missile hit the airfield. The extent of the damage to the infrastructure is not yet known. 2 soldiers were hospitalized with injuries. This is video footage coming out. I'm going to show you guys some other videos that I think are better than this one that show direct hits on the airfield. It says here, private house was damaged by the blast wave. The remaining missiles and drones were allegedly shot down as they approached the administrative center of Kursk, as well as over Kurchatov and several other settlements in the oblast. Earlier, regional governor Alexei Smirnov confirmed the attack, claiming that Russian air defenses had successfully intercepted 7 Ukrainian missiles and 7 drones. The Khalino airfield, located 7 kilometers east of Kursk, is home to Su-30 SM aircraft from the 14th Fighter Regiment of the 105th Mixed Aviation Division. Okay, so major attack coming on the Khalino airfield. Looks like 7 Atacms missiles and 12 drones in total fired onto the Khalino airbase, and I'm going to show you guys video footage that shows direct hits here with Atacms cluster munitions. So first, let me show you on a map where this base is located at. Here's Ukraine again. We will zoom into the Kursk region, which is just over the border from where the city of Sumy is. And over here, next to the city of Kursk, we have the smaller town of Khalino. Right next to Khalino is the Khalino airbase, okay, also known as the Kursk airport. But Russia definitely uses this for their military aircraft. We can see some of them stationed here. This is obviously a satellite image, so it's probably not completely accurate. And if you notice here as well, looks like they might be storing some munitions. When I was looking at this earlier, this looks like munitions being stored here out in the open. I'm not sure if Russia has moved those by now. I would think they would, but we have definitely seen Russia storing lots of munitions out in the open. You can see a pretty massive airport here. Looks like maybe some more munitions might be stored here as well. And looks like even helicopters here also at this airbase. So it definitely came under attack by several Atacms, and I believe at least 2 direct hits on this facility when I show you guys, or this airbase, excuse me. So I have this first video is what appears to be somebody like a worker that's in his truck, and the Atacms come landing very close to him. It's actually a pretty frightening video, but thankfully he was not hurt by this. I don't think this is a military personnel. I think this is just somebody who probably works at the airport. So it says here from War Translated Dmitry, reportedly the moment of the Atacm strike on an airfield in the Kursk region. So 20 seconds long. Take a look at this pretty insane video.
Пиздец, ебать, там хуярит, блядь. Ебать! Твою мать, блядь! Пизда нахуй! Пизда нахуй! Пиздец, ебать, там...
All right, so we can see direct hits at this facility. Looks like over in the distance, there was an attack just prior to these M74 bomblets that come out of these Atacms, striking the ground right here, very close to this man's vehicle. Pretty scary to see that. Yeah, so it looks like multiple hits here just in this one video alone. And I've got more videos to show you guys right now too. This is from Max24, video from Khalino airfield in Kursk. So this shows several hits as well. Just a 3-second video, but take a look at this. Okay, so just real quick, we can definitely see a flash over here from a direct strike on the Khalino airfield in the distance. Somebody was able to capture it on camera. Looks like they were probably sitting outside on their balcony and was able to capture that. Also, moving on to another update from Anton Gurushenko, a video appeared online that reportedly shows an attack on a Russian military airfield in Kursk region. I will add a subtitle video as soon as it's ready. So this video does have no subtitles. You'll kind of hear somebody talking, but you can see what appears to be multiple strikes at the Khalino airbase as well, and you'll see some of the M74 bomblets that come out of these Atacms, the cluster munitions as well, falling onto the ground in multiple areas. Pretty insane video also. Take a look.
А, ну это беспилотники. Ух ты, а что это такое? И там, глянь, мам. А что это такое? Это какая-то система ПВО новая. Охренеть.
All right, we'll go ahead and pause it there, guys. I'm going to scroll back just a little bit here so we can see one strike over here in the distance. The camera will kind of pan around. Looks like potentially a second one over there. So he comes back this way, and then we can see even more hitting in this area. So look at that, guys. Heavy strike with Atacms here on the Khalino airbase, taking massive hits from these Atacms ballistic missiles. Absolutely insane footage, guys. All right, now we're going to move on to some more updates. Now I want to talk to you about the attacks inside of Ukraine. I've got multiple videos to show you of major damage being reported. And this from Vicegrad24, breaking. Large Russian wave of missile and suicide drone strikes is hitting Ukraine right now. At least 19 people were wounded in Kharkiv after a missile struck a residential area. Dozens of suicide drones attacked the city of Zaporizhia. Missiles are also striking Odessa. In total, 150 suicide drones, glide bombs, and missiles have struck 10 Ukrainian regions over the past 12 hours. I mean, look at that, guys. Heavy strikes even from Russia as well, just pounding Ukraine. And this is video footage coming out. I'm not sure exactly where this was recorded from, but we're going to see major damage from airstrikes inside of this city in Ukraine. Take a look. All right, so yet another day with Ukraine just being completely leveled by Russian glide bombs, guided aerial bombs, drones. They are just getting hit every single day. And it's just very sad to see that, many of the innocent people that don't want to be a part of this war, they have to succumb to this, okay, and be attacked almost every single day. How do people get sleep? How are people not completely losing their minds of being attacked almost every single day? And it definitely seems like, at least in the city of Odessa, it's possible this is where this could be at. Odessa's been getting hammered heavily lately. It seems like Russia's really trying to put pressure on the population in Odessa, just like Kharkiv, to potentially make people flee the area, as it could be indicative of an area that Russia wants to take over. And Odessa being a major city down there and a port city could be very useful for the Russians if they were to take that over. So moving on to another update now from Anton Gerashenko. Today, Russia's strike on Odessa, as seen in flower shops and cafes. This is what Ukrainian cities endure every day. We also have a 13-second clip showing security camera footage inside some businesses in Ukraine, and the strikes landing so closely, you're going to see stuff just blowing everywhere inside of these shops. Take a look. All right, that's how powerful these strikes are. I mean, imagine being inside of one of these businesses when one of these missiles come landing in the streets or on a building next to you. Very frightening, guys, to see this. These doors getting blown out, windows blown out, just destroying lots of infrastructure inside of Ukraine. Also from Anton Gerashenko, Russia fired a ballistic missile yet again at civilian infrastructure in Odessa. 6 injured, 1 person is in serious condition. Doctors are doing the best to save a patient's life. Residential buildings, a school, and a university gym were damaged. Okay, we got 34-second clip also in Ukraine showing major damage. This gentleman will be talking to us with subtitles as well. Take a look.
Котре ворог атакував мирне населення балістичною ракетою. Ви бачите всі, що навколо щільна житлова забудова, знаходиться стоматологічна клініка, аптека. Жодних натяків на те, що тут перебувають військові або якісь інші цілі, які можуть цікавити ворога, немає. Я вважаю, що, мабуть, основною метою ворога є залякування саме мирного населення Одещини.
Параллельный дом, у нас то же самое, окон нету, я пришла вот взять, а тут такое, как мы живы, здоровы, да, только все трясемся.
Котре ворог атакував мирне.
All right, guys, here's the results of more strikes inside of Ukraine. And again, these people having to endure this almost every single day, major strikes being reported. I've shown you guys so many videos coming out from Ukraine, lots of innocent people losing their lives as well. And this war is definitely getting very brutal and very quickly, okay? And I think to the run-up of Donald Trump getting into office, I think we are going to see this war continue to get more brutal every single day. Let me know what you think down below. Okay, also from Military News UA, President Zelensky heard the reports of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Sursky, on the situation on the front. Kharkov direction, we are working to strengthen our positions. Zaporizhia direction, we see existing threats. The defense forces of Ukraine are controlling the situation. And the task of the Kursk operation is to destroy the Russian potential in the border area as much as possible. So it looks like Zelensky had an update, situational report from Oleksandr Sursky, the commander of Ukraine's armed forces, and gave an update regarding the Eastern Front, also Zaporizhia, and the Kharkov direction, okay? So looks like this war is still grinding on the Eastern Front, and looks like Ukraine is still trying to hold on as well. Okay, also, this huge report came out today as well. I might do a separate video on this to give you guys more information, as obviously we only have one post here. But it says here from next, a DHL cargo plane crashed into a 2-story residential building in Vilnius, that's in Lithuania, early in the morning, excuse me. There were 4 people on board, 2 pilots and 2 DHL employees. One of the pilots died, while the other was rescued from the cockpit by emergency services and handed over to medics. 12 residents were evacuated from the building with no injuries reported among them, according to local media. Okay, so it looks like 1 person died so far in this, what appears to be an accident. But if you notice, it is a DHL cargo plane, okay? And I've reported to you guys recently, there was sabotage threats inside of Europe recently. I forget which countries it was. It might have been Germany, where they were finding some packages inside of DHL cargo planes that were starting to catch on fire or inside of the facilities before they got onto the cargo planes. And they were possibly indicating that these packages could have come from Russia and maybe they were sabotaged to catch on fire on these planes. Now, it's just very interesting that that report just coming out a few weeks ago. Now we have a DHL cargo plane, which is the same company that was reporting this issue with these packages reportedly exploding or catching on fire. Now we have a DHL cargo plane crashing into Lithuania. So I'm not really sure what to say about that. We don't know for sure if this is Russian sabotage or what this is, or if there's just some sort of freak accident. We really don't know all the details yet, but I think I'm going to do a separate video on this later if I can gather up enough information and show you guys what happened here. But this is pictures coming out from Vilnius inside of Lithuania showing this cargo plane as it crashed in a residential area, okay? So very sad situation for the innocent people who were just piloting this cargo plane. But definitely, I will try to give you guys another update if we get some information that is worth reporting, okay? So also from next, NATO. NATO says Russian army larger but less capable than in 2022. Admiral Rob Bauer, NATO Military Committee Chair, noted that Russia's ground forces have grown since February 2022 but have declined in quality. At the moment, the Russians are not the same threat as in February 2022, so we have a bit of time to prepare ourselves. Well, I mean, this might be correct in some ways. I mean, think about this. At the very start of the war, Russia probably used a lot of their elite units. Maybe a lot of them have been grinded down. A lot of them could have been eliminated. So maybe a lot of the new fighters in Russia's military are just new recruits, okay? People that probably never even been engaged in combat before, probably just recently being trained, and maybe Russia might be kind of fast-tracking a lot of these soldiers as well, considering they need troops on the front. So he might be right about some of that, but yeah, he's claiming that their army has grown, but they are less capable than they were at the start of the war. Let me know what you think about that down below. Also from Anton Gerashenko, no one should underestimate the Russian cyber threat to NATO. Pat McFadden, the UK Cabinet Office Minister. He emphasized that Russia is exceptionally aggressive and reckless in the cyber realm. If Moscow launches a wave of cyber attacks against NATO members, millions of people could find themselves without electricity. This will be discussed at the NATO Cybersecurity Conference in London today. Okay, so that's today, Monday, November 25th. And it says here, the Russian threat to NATO countries is finally being taken seriously. Hopefully, strong decisions will follow. Now, this report actually came out a couple days ago. It says here from Politico, UK warning, Russia's aggressive cyber warfare is a threat to NATO. And it was basically talking about how Russia could launch major cyber attacks onto the UK, potentially knocking out their electricity grid, leaving many people in the dark and without heating, as well as obviously it's wintertime over there. So looks like that's something they're going to be discussing at this cyber meeting cybersecurity conference, in London. And yeah, so they're going to be discussing this and trying to take this seriously, as it looks like this could potentially be a major threat. Yeah, we'll see if we get more information on that. If we do, I will do a separate report on this as well, as that obviously is a major threat to Europe, okay? So also from War Translated Dmitry, on November 23rd, 2024, a missile strike was carried out against the S-400 air defense system in the settlement of Bolshoi, Zerovo, Kursk region. The strike was carried out using 3 Atacms ballistic missiles. The air defense system was in a non-combat state undergoing repairs. As a result of the strike, the 92 N6E radar station and 2 launchers were destroyed. 5 officers from the division were killed, including the commander of the chief of staff and 3 employees of AO Almaz Ante. I don't know if it's Ante or Ante, received fatal injuries. So we actually reported this just 2 days ago, an Atacms missile attack inside of the Kursk region, and supposedly targeting an S-400 radar station, okay? This is apparently footage coming out, or pictures showing the radar station completely destroyed from the Atacms missiles as Ukraine attacked this area just 2 days ago. This supposedly being a picture of some of the officers and the chief of staff that was killed in this attack as well. Looks like they may have been manning the station at the time, and apparently, according to this information, was undergoing repairs. Looks like it was destroyed, okay? This is a major hit as well to the Kursk region, and could be potentially blinding the Russians over here in terms of air defense. If their radars are taken out, their air defense systems won't be much help. And this may also indicate why we saw the attack on the Khalino airfield just last night as well. So they went ahead and took out the air defense first in the Kursk region, then slamming the Khalino airbase. Okay, that would make sense that Ukraine would do that. Also from Kiev Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of November 25th, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. So here's the losses over the last 24 hours. Looks like 1,610 or 1,610 troops on the Russian side that they supposedly lost, as obviously these are estimates by the Ukrainian military. 27 AFVs, 84 vehicles, fuel tanks, looks like another 6 tanks, 22 artillery, 114 UAVs. So you can just see lots of the different losses here, and we've been seeing in terms of troop numbers right around 1,500 or more Russian troops being killed every single day, according to Ukraine's information here that they're putting out in terms of Russian troop losses, okay? So also from Nexta, North Korea is expanding a missile factory for Russia, Reuters reports. Satellite images analyzed by CNS show new construction at the Ryongsan complex, including an assembly building and housing for workers. The facility reportedly produces KN-23 missiles used by Russia in Ukraine. So here's pictures coming out from this facility that North Korea is apparently expanding. It's a missile factory that's supposed to be for Russia for the KN-23 ballistic missiles. And these are supposed to be some satellite imagery showing this. Looks like they're storing a lot of them out here in the open as well in these containers. So yeah, I mean, there's just more show that North Korea is definitely heavily involved in this war with Russia and backing them 110%, not only with equipment like this, weapons, but also troops as well. Okay, we're hearing that in the future we could potentially see up to 100,000 or maybe more North Korean fighters inside of Russia, also Ukraine, to back up the Russian troops. Okay, also from the Ukrainian Review, the UK government has announced the largest package of sanctions against 30 ships of Russia's Shadow Fleet. Half of the ships sanctioned today transported more than 4.3 billion worth of oil and petroleum products such as petrol in the last year alone. Okay, so the West has definitely been ramping up sanctions on Russia recently. They just targeted the Gazprom bank inside of Russia recently, also lots of other top banks, making it difficult for the banks to do business with other countries, even some friendly countries to Russia as well. Now the UK targeting Russia's shadow fleet of oil tankers, okay, that are transporting oil. Now this is very, very big. This could definitely put a heavy strain on Russia's economy, as a large percentage of their economy is oil production, okay? And just like what we saw earlier, the Kaluga oil depot coming under attack as well by Ukrainian drones. So their oil production output has got to be getting smashed right now from these sanctions. These sanctions over the next few weeks should be taking a pretty massive hit to Russia's economy, and we're already seeing inside of Russia as well, their economy is just being battered. So I can't imagine what would happen after a year from now if this war continues to grind on. All these sanctions and the losses that Russia is taking, it's got to be doing something major to be bringing Russia down big time. Okay, also for military news UA, European countries may send their troops to Ukraine, according to Le Monde. This is currently being discussed at a state level, and it is allegedly connected with the possible refusal of the U.S. to support Ukraine after Trump takes office as U.S. president on January 20th, 2025. Okay, so looks like Europe is talking once again about potentially sending their troops to Ukraine. We're hearing the UK and France may potentially do this. Now, this could obviously be maybe if at some point the United States pulls their support away for Ukraine. We keep hearing that if Donald Trump gets in, he may do that. And it could put Ukraine in a very dire situation. And Europe has a lot more to lose with Ukraine falling than the United States does, okay? The United States has a huge body of water protecting them. Europe does not. Okay, in Poland, the Baltic nations, many of those countries right on the border of Ukraine would be at the front line if a war were to break out. So I will be doing a separate video on this later to give you guys more information regarding this. But it looks like the US and UK and some other European nations might be starting to talk about this right now, about potentially backing Ukraine with NATO troops inside of Ukraine. Okay, also from DD Geopolitics, Ukraine will not receive the THAAD anti-missile system from the U.S., according to Ukrainian media. The missile system can allegedly shoot down the new Russian missile Oreshnik. Okay, so we were hearing recently if Ukraine was potentially going to get some sort of air defense system that could potentially shoot down this new threat of the Oreshnik hypersonic medium-range ballistic missile that Russia fired into Ukraine just days ago. And now apparently maybe the THAAD system can shoot it down. I don't know 100% whether it can or not, but Russia's been claiming that there is no air defense system that the West has that can shoot down the Oreshnik hypersonic ballistic missile. Now, that's a major threat to Europe and Ukraine if this were to be the case, as this medium-range missile could strike even the UK, I think, in like 17 minutes. So looks like Ukraine's not going to be getting this THAAD air defense system, which could potentially be one of the only systems that the West has to potentially even shoot it down, and we don't even know for sure if it could, okay? So now moving on to another update, we got two more things to show you guys from NOAA Reports. Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reveals loss ratios in the Kursk region. With a ratio of 1 to 6, 1 to 7, the enemy has suffered significantly more losses. These are colossal numbers, said Anatoly Levish. That's a hard last name to say. So this is apparently him right here. And yeah, so he's claiming that Russian losses are extremely high, okay? He's saying 1 to 6 or even 1 to 7. That is extremely high. Now, we don't know for sure 110% if this is correct. That's what, according to the Ukrainian military. But we have been hearing that the Russians are taking major losses. And I would assume that major losses are being incurred by the Russians right now, as obviously, you know, look at the Kursk region, for example. If Ukraine was taking major losses, we probably would have seen Ukraine pushed out of the Kursk region or very close to being pushed out. And we haven't really seen that. If anything, Ukraine, for the most part, is still holding on to the Kursk region. Now, they have lost somewhere, is what's being reported on mainstream news, somewhere around 40% of the territory that Ukraine currently held before. At the beginning of the incursion has been lost, but still a significant amount of territory in the Kursk region still being held at this time. So it could be true that maybe Russia really is taking these kinds of losses, but let me know what you think down below. Finally, one last thing to show you guys from DD Geopolitics again. A video showcasing the Russian aerospace forces in action has surfaced online, featuring bombers delivering intense airstrikes on Ukrainian positions in the city of Chasiv Yar. The city appears to be on the brink of collapse, with another retreat by Ukrainian forces likely in the near future. So it looks like we might be hearing pretty soon in Chasiv Yar. Ukraine's been fighting heavily over here. I believe this is in the Donetsk region, but I know it's on the eastern side of Ukraine. Can't remember exactly where it's located, but Chasiv Yar has been a major battleground for Russia and Ukraine for a while now. And looks like the airstrikes, according to this video, are so intense that Ukraine may at some point have to pull back from this city. Yeah, we've definitely been seeing that a lot with Ukraine having to be backpedaling and retreating every so often as the Russians continue to invade and push forward. So yeah, definitely so much information coming out today, guys. And yeah, this war is definitely spiraling, getting out of control, getting more intense every single day and more brutal. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in today and hanging out here with me. If you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.